Welcome to today's Explainer. I am so pumped you're hanging out with us because today we're tackling what is literally one of the most frustrating, banging your head against a brick wall problems in all of fitness. Yep, I'm talking about stagnant arm growth. We all know the feeling, right? You put in the time, you sweat, you grind, and yet that tape measure just absolutely refuses to budge. Well, we're going to change that today. We're breaking down the exact game-changing secrets that shift how your arms respond to training, finally getting you off that plateau and back to seeing real results. Six whole months. I mean, just think about spending half a year going to the gym, doing endless variations of curls, sweating, grinding, pushing yourself week in and week out, and then you look in the mirror and boom, absolutely zero visible growth. It's maddening. It's the kind of intense pull-your-hair-out frustration that makes you literally want to toss your gym bag straight out a window. So, I really gotta ask you, why do your biceps look exactly the same as they did 6 months ago? Seriously, take a second and think about that. You haven't been slacking. You know you've been putting in the reps. But the reality is, this is a plateau that traps so many of us. But hey, here's the good news. We are absolutely solving this today. Section 1. The arm growth plateau, shifting the paradigm. Okay, let's dive into this. The fundamental problem here isn't actually the specific exercises you're picking, but exactly how you're executing them. We need a massive paradigm shift in how we approach picking up a weight. We got to stop just, going through the motions. This quote right here, it's the absolute anchor for everything we're talking about today. The goal isn't moving the bar. The goal is creating maximum tension. Seriously, read that again. When you finally stop obsessing over just getting a weight from point A to point B, and you start obsessing over the tension in the muscle itself, your entire workout flips on its head. That one simple adjustment, it's the secret sauce to unlocking way better arm pumps and ultimately real growth. Section 2. Dropping the ego, the barbell curl. So the barbell curl is an absolute classic staple, right? But man, it's also the absolute easiest exercise to completely ruin if you let your ego take the wheel. When you're starting out, the temptation is always to load way too much weight on that bar. And when it's too heavy, what happens? You start heaving with your lower back, you're swinging your hips like crazy. Sure, the weight technically goes up, but your biceps are barely doing any of the actual work. But when you switch to strict reps, that's where the magic happens. By intentionally dropping the load, yes, swallowing your pride a bit, you can keep your elbows locked right tight against your body and pull exclusively with those biceps. Dropping the weight actually forces the muscle to do way more work. Crazy, right? Section 3. Mind-muscle connection, alternating dumbbell curl. It is just so incredibly easy to fall into the trap of lifting weights for years, literally years, without ever genuinely feeling your biceps working. By switching to alternating dumbbell curls, you isolate one arm at a time, and this forces you to stop rushing and actually focus on that specific muscle contracting. The mechanics here demand absolute, dialed-in control. First, you smoothly rotate your wrist as you curl that dumbbell up. Second, you squeeze the muscle just as hard as you possibly can at the very top of the movement. And third, you hold that squeeze for one full, deliberate second. It's only a second, but I promise you, it completely transforms the effectiveness of the exercise. You are literally demanding that the muscle work under continuous, grueling tension. And this brilliantly illustrates that quality beats speed every single time. No contest. Rushing through alternating curls just to check the box and get the set over with, that is totally robbing you of the growth you're working so hard for. When you finally learn to genuinely feel the muscle contract, every single set you do becomes exponentially more effective. It's a total game changer. Section 4. Angles and constant tension, cable rope hammer curls, and squatting curls.
We are bringing cables into the mix now because, honestly, they're the ultimate tool for creating entirely new angles and making sure the resistance never ever drops off. A massive mistake folks make is focusing purely on the bicep peak. But look, if you want arms that look huge from every single angle, you've got to target the brachialis and the brachioradialis. These are the unsung heroes that add that overall arm thickness, and the cable rope hammer curl hits them perfectly. If your arms look kind of flat from the front, well, this is exactly what you've been missing.
What is just so incredible about using cables for this is the constant tension. Unlike dumbbells, where the resistance can kind of fall off at the top or bottom, the cable makes sure the resistance never disappears. It's always pulling. To maximize this, keep your elbows rigidly locked in place, and when you reach the very top of the movement, pull the ropes apart, just separate them slightly. That tiny extra little contraction at the end, that is what makes your arms noticeably fuller. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it tackles momentum. You rarely see people doing the squatting cable curl, but wow, it is a fantastic arm builder. By grabbing the cable and squaring up while just squatting slightly, you build this incredibly stable base. And that stability, combined with the really unique angle of the cable pulling from below and away from you, completely eliminates any chance of using momentum. Your biceps have absolutely no choice but to do all the heavy lifting. It just goes to show, muscle growth isn't always about inventing crazy new exercises. Sometimes it's literally just about finding a much better angle for the exact same muscle. Section 5, the deep stretch, machine preacher curl. Okay, so we've talked about the top of the movement, and we've hit the middle of the movement, but now we're putting the spotlight on the highly neglected bottom portion of the curl. Training in the stretched position is an absolute game changer. So the crucial point is that the preacher curl machine physically prevents you from cheating. You are locked in. When you lower the weight slowly, instead of just letting gravity yank it down, your biceps experience this deep, intense stretch at the bottom of the rep that you simply don't get from most other exercises. By staying fully in control and really embracing that deep stretch, you're creating a tremendous amount of tension. Over time, focusing on this specific stretch leads to dramatically better bicep fullness and just overall arm development. Seriously, never underestimate what slow, controlled reps can do for you. Let's quickly pull this whole shebang together. 5 exercises, 5 massive lessons. Ready? Barbell curls teach us to drop the ego and demand strict tension. Dumbbell curls train us to lock in that true mind-muscle connection. Cable hammer curls target those hidden muscles to build complete arm thickness. Squatting curls use unique angles for constant, inescapable tension. And preacher curls, they prove the incredible hypertrophic power of the deep stretch. Boom. So there it is. The blueprint is right here in front of you, and the mystery of the plateau is officially solved. It's not about just adding more useless volume. It's about making every single rep actually count. I want you to look at your current workout plan right now. Knowing what you know now about maximum tension, ego lifting, and angles, how are you going to change your routine tomorrow? Drop the ego at the door, zero in on that tension, and let's start growing those arms. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I will see you guys next time.